Welcome to Coffee and Collaborations presents the Fan Club Podcast, the ultimate fan club podcast. For those of you who have joined us weekly, you know that FAN is an acronym for Friends Accountability Network. So me and my friends, or my friends and I like to share wisdom, nuggets, just tools that we've picked up that we like to share with others. And many are coaches, mentors. For those of you who have joined us before, my name is Kimberly Winborne. I am the CEO and founder of Kimberly Winborne, LLC, which houses Coffee and Collaborations Media. I am excited because all month long, this month, we have been celebrating Financial Literacy Month. And in Kimberly Winborne LLC, like I said, if you've never been here before, you may not know that I am a financial win strategist and also a communications consultant. So basically what that means is that I help entrepreneurs make money so that they can then also be stewards of it. So I help them to come up with a strategy to communicate successfully, attracting the right audience, being on brand, and then also I help them after we rolling in on the dough, after we're making money, after we're budgeting it and making sure that it is building the way that we want it to build. We've scaled our businesses, we're growing. Now it's time to really implement step by step to be and have the legacy that we want to create, to be the individuals that we want to be. So let's talk a moment today about what that is for you. So today's focus, as you see, I'm by myself and I'm not going to be bringing any guests. A lot of times I'll introduce the show and then I'll bring on a guest and we'll have a great conversation. But today it's all me. As we wrap up Financial Literacy Month, I want to put on my hat that I think that I wear pretty well. I've been wearing it for about 7 years now. I want to put on that hat of financial win strategist and talk a little bit about some things that you may not know that may be able to help you and serve you when it comes to something that you may be able to go ahead and implement right now to change your financial trajectory. Another thing I want you to consider is your why. So you've heard this before. What is that thing, that vision that you see for your life, but it may seem so far in the distance because of some of the stuff that you have, the debts that you're drowning in. Those are the things that we want to focus on today. Let's talk about it. You know, on your end, you can reach out to me at KimberlyWinborneLLC.com and let me know, what were your comments? What are your thoughts as far as your finances as we go through some of these facts that I'm going to be going through today in a presentation sort of format, but is more so speaking to you about some facts that will help you. And once you know better, you can do better. Same thing for me. Once I knew better, I could do better in every area of my life. And so that is why I'm a financial win strategist. That is why, and what I love doing, but that is why I do it, because I have a passion for helping people to see clearly, finally, to have hope, finally, when it comes to their finances. So not just entrepreneurs, but my primary target market is entrepreneurs, but I work with organizations. I go in sometimes and speak to their business department. I speak to their clients as well. And if it's a nonprofit that's working with, like I just recently did a nonprofit that's working with women who have survived domestic violence, I went in and I conducted a workshop. I like to call them win shops, but I conducted that with them for 7 weeks. So this is what I am passionate about and why. What is my why? What is my vision? Well, the reason why I'm passionate about helping people to get beyond their limitations to grow financially is because I remember being the product of a single mother who felt like if only I had more, I could do more. And it wasn't just money coming in, it was also knowledge. How many people have ever thought that for yourself? If I only had the opportunity to have more resources, I could do better. If I only had the opportunity to have more money, I could do better. If I only had the opportunity to do this or do that, go to college, blah, 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 I could do better. I could be further along. You know, that's the story we tell ourselves all the time. And sometimes it keeps us in the quicksand of life, sinking deeper and deeper and deeper. And it's not just a financial debt. Then it becomes a mental debt. It becomes a drain and a burden that causes you to have a ripple effect physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially. So let's talk about some facts that are going to help you because you know better. They're going to help you to do better. So I want you to think about these numbers that I'm going to be sharing with you, okay? Think about these numbers and think about where you land, and most of us will land in these numbers. We're going to be talking about debt today. I'm excited to announce that I am a new author. I have been working on, you've heard me talk about it before, the debt detox. I have been working on this, doing this workshop tirelessly over and over, making it better for the past 5 years. And I am now finished with the book, and it's called The Debt Detox. It's 30 days to eliminating the financial habits, those toxic habits that hold us back so that we can win. And so I'm declaring this year financial literacy year, not April financial literacy month, but 2021 financial literacy year, the year to gain financial education and then do something different with it. Do something better with it. So I'm giving you the facts so you can know better. And now we're declaring that this is financial literacy year so you can do better. There is a fact that $14.1 trillion is attributed to, according to Experience 2019 Consumer Debt Study. That is the total consumer debt in the United States. And the individual American carries about $90,000 of debt, of personal debt. Now, how many of you are even making $90,000? So many people aren't even making that per year, but have that and more in debt. The total consumer debt totaled $4.144 trillion in the third quarter of 2019, which was a 4.7% increase from the third quarter of 2018. That was a record year. 2019 was a record high year for consumer debt. Wow. So let's think about this for a second. We're going into this record high year of consumer debt. You know what that means? We're shopping, shopping, shopping. We're spending money. As many people like to say, we're feeding the economy. And then 2020, what happens? Everybody knows now the pandemic hits. Boom. And what happens? Money begins to freeze up. The economy begins to slow down. Businesses begin to close. A Bloomberg.com study showed that there was a decline in personal consumer debt because there was a drop in outstanding credit card debt in 2020 because of the pandemic, as shutdowns limited consumer spending and households. But we were on the trajectory to increasing our debt even more. Now, do you guys understand why it was important for me to write a book focusing on eliminating debt? Because there's a mindset, a consumer mindset, and those facts share what that mindset is. We are buying. We want, we want, we want. Now, yes, it does feed the economy, but there is also a fact that while we are feeding the economy in many situations, we are killing our own personal economies in our households, because we are many times one check away from homelessness. Think about that for a minute. Think about that. It's hard stuff, I know, but if you don't get a check tomorrow or whenever you get paid, if you miss one check, two checks, what's going to happen to your family? It would absolutely change it. Now, think about that for yourself. So these are the things I want us to consider and think about from a facts perspective, not beating ourselves up, but once we know better, let's consider this over and over again. Keep thinking about this because I don't want anybody to feel bad. What I want is once you know better, you do what? Do better. Mortgage loans, $19.6 trillion. Auto loans, $1.3 trillion. Student loans, $1.4 trillion. And how many of those are in default? 10.8%. About 10.8%. That's the default rate of student loans that were 90 days or more delinquent. That was at the beginning of 2020. As we know, though, those numbers are going to change and have changed because some of the things that have happened as a result of the pandemic. So much of this has adjusted due to the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act called the CARES Act. You guys may have heard of that. That was implemented to help many people due to COVID-19. So some of those numbers have changed as a result of that. But we still have a major amount of debt. That's the whole focus. The whole focus is we have a lot of debt. We're consumer mindset, which means we're focusing on spending, 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 not necessarily saving. And the average family, so ages 32 to 61, that's about the average median working age. In 2016, when the Economic Policy Institute did a study, they only had that age range, that median age range. I'm in there, ages 32 to 61. I'm in that median age range. This group, my group, had only in 2016, in that research study, they only had $7,800 saved. Only $7,800. 4 out of every 100 Americans, according to the Office of Research, a division of the Social Security Administration, about 20 years ago said that only 4 out of every Americans will be financially secure at retirement. These are some hard facts, some hard numbers. But once we know better, we can do better, right? An analysis by the Economic Policy Institute using data from 2013 showed that a typical couple in the 56 to 61 age bracket had just $17,000 set aside. Tell me, give me some feedback. Like I said, you guys can reach out to me through my website. Is this enough for you to retire? $17,000, you and your spouse? $17,000, is that enough for you to retire? According to a 2011 study from Pew Research, whites possess 20 times more wealth than African Americans and 18 times that of Latinos. So I'm throwing in some numbers when it comes to race as well. Because obviously you're looking at me, you know I'm African American. I'm an African American woman. And one of my whys is to help my community to get educated so we can do better. Another passion of mine is to help women who are going through transitions to get this sort of information so that they can also do better. Like I said, I was inspired by my mom, who is a single mother, who of course is also African American. So according to that study in 2011 from Pew Research Center, whites possess 20 times more wealth than African Americans and 18 times that of Latinos. As shown on yourweb.com, of the 14 million Black households in the US in 2015, only 5% had more than $350,000 in net worth. Only 5%, and less than 1% of Black families had over 1 million in net assets. Less than 1% of Black families, guys. According to Thomas Shapiro, who's an expert in this field of finance, a lot of people really have leaned on him through the years, college professor, all of that, very well educated in this area, has done several studies on African Americans and other populations when it comes to research on economic development, advancements, and disadvancements, all of those things. He said that in 2004, that white families possess between 3 and 5 times as much wealth as equally achieving Black middle-class families. So there's some disparities here, right? There's some big gaps. Same opportunity, or as far as age group, I should say, same age group, same set of circumstances, except race is different. There are some disparities. White families possess between 3 and 5 times as much wealth as equally achieving Black families. So we got to talk about the disparities, right? Because when we know better, we can do better. And if you're on the other side of the coin and wonder, why are these people saying that it's harder for them to get ahead, right? Why? Well, the facts tell us. The facts tell us. And when we know better, we can do better. What can improve our current and future positions as a people, as an African American people? Number 1, collaboration, educating our youth. Number 2, to have an investment mindset. 3, incorporating principles that position us to achieve long-term gains individually and collectively. And I want to go back to number 2, educating our youth to have an investment mindset. I'm so excited about one of the win shops that we have coming up, where we will be working with the youth. We will be working with the youth on financial literacy, educating them, giving them some of the tools that they're absolutely not getting in school. And sometimes as parents, we can't give them because we don't know. So while we also work with you in our win shop that's coming up on May 15th, we can also work with your youth in a summer win shop. So we'll let you know more about that. Just like I said, stay plugged into Kimberly Winborne LLC, whether you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, also the website, KimberlyWinborneLLC.com, as well as LinkedIn. And we'll be sharing all of that information with you. So back to what I was saying, we have some amazing win shops coming up. Now, these are tools that will allow you to go from hopeless to hopeful, as well as your youth, saying what can improve our current and future positions as a people, as an African American people, as an American people even. Collaboration, educating our youth to have an investment mindset, incorporate principles that position us to achieve long-term gains individually and collectively, and lastly, combine all 3, get the information, access people like myself who continue and tirelessly educate and share, and then have a voice yourself for your family, have a voice yourself for your community. But I always say it starts home. As they say, you have to put the oxygen mask on yourself first. It starts at home. So can you, those of you who are listening, those of you who are watching, can you just first start with yourself, committing to making some different choices when it comes to your finances so that you can move ahead? Are you willing to do that? So for those who are, then, like I said earlier, I have an opportunity, a few opportunities for you to plug into some tools that will help you to achieve the things that you want to achieve financially during this year, financial literacy year, where you're going to take wisdom and knowledge and you're going to apply it so that you can win. So the debt detox, so excited. This book is something, like I said, that I have been working on for quite some time. You should see it behind me. The debt detox is that tool. And I want to share it with you on this platform for those who are listening, those who are watching. I want to share that with you because if you're listening to those numbers, whether you're African American, whether you're Caucasian, whether you're Asian, whether you're Latino, whatever race you are, whether you're a mixture, whoever and whatever you're made up of. In the end, we are all the human race. And in America, many of us in this human race are struggling financially. We're struggling in so many ways. And we need the tools to help us to win. So not only are we focusing on finance in the debt detox, we're also focusing on a debt mindset. We're focusing on how you can overcome just from understanding the mindset that you have and implementing tools and skills in order to move to the next level to create the mindset that you want. And people ask me all the time, it's mindset. How can you change the things that have been embedded in you since you were a youth? Maybe it's your parents and what they've taught or not taught, your teachers, your pastors, leaders in the community. How can you evolve from there? Mindset, people feel, is something difficult to change, but it's possible. Just like with anything, it takes intentionality, commitment, and discipline. It first takes the choice, you making the choice that you have the power to design the life that you want for you and your family, and that you have the power to win. Like I always say, we are born to win. My name, Kimberly Winborne, is kind of a funny thing that I came up with, divinely inspired. When people couldn't spell it, and I would say, oh, it's just spelled like born to win. And that became something that was a powerful message for those who I'm working with in finance. People really get that. If you think that you were born, put on this earth here to wake up and lose, you have the wrong information. You have the wrong information. No, you were born to win. And everybody's win is different. Your win can be different from my win, but you were not born to lose. And so taking that knowledge, putting it in your hand, and understanding that you have a massive amount of power right at your disposal, in your hand, in your mind. You, no, not her over there, him over there, but you. So the Debt Detox, that book, I worked really hard. I paid attention to my clients and their needs. I switched it around a few times, the step-by-step process, because I saw that the first scenario, it worked for some, but I wanted to help more. And so I changed it around so we could tackle things in the way that they need to be so that more people can be successful. So whether you're in my win shop or you're doing it at home on your own in your own self-study, investment time, you can do it. You could go through the book. You could do it with your spouse. You could do it with a group of friends. You could do it with your organization. You could do it with your coworkers. So you have my expertise and my hard work, and you're able to take that knowing that there are others before you that have completed it and have been successful and are thriving, that have paid off debts, that have increased their credit score, that have now been living by a budget for a while, and as a result are able to vacation, able to take time off and spend joyful time with their children because they've been living by a budget and saving. They're not tripped up when things in the world happen that we don't expect, like this pandemic, like the market crash of 2008, 2009, like the next thing that's going to happen, or all the things in between, because they're prepared. They have created and built a fortress that is unbreakable. So that is our time today. I'm excited to share. I don't talk too much about myself when I have my guests on. I don't talk too much about my company. You know, I talk about my experiences with others, and I talk about a lot of things, but I don't really get into the passion, the meat, the bottom line for why I do what I do, and then share with you exactly what that is. But with the launch of this book, with the work that I've been doing behind the scenes and what I've been seeing going into these organizations and really being able to help these women and men, oh yeah, I wanted to talk about it today before we end Financial Literacy Month, because I want to declare Financial Literacy Year. And I want all of the people that I know who are in finance to join me in that effort. This is Financial Literacy Year. This is the year to do better, to do something different. And we have a summit coming up in May where we're also going to have other financial experts who will be able to help you, and it's going to be free. It's going to be free online. They're going to be able to help you to finally understand the process of getting a mortgage, finally understand the process of building wealth, finally understand how to keep your books and keep them well, finally understand how to build and scale your business, how to invest in you. So thank you for joining us today on Coffee and Collaborations. Coffee and Collaborations was created 3 years ago, and this month we celebrated our 3-year anniversary. So thank you for joining me today for another episode of Coffee and Collaborations presents the F.A.N Club podcast. Today, I was the only friend here. F.A.N is an acronym for Friends Accountability Network. So it was just me today, but I am friend to you, and I want to keep you accountable to your goals, keep you accountable to your win. So make sure you reach out to me. You can pre-order that book now. It's going to be launching and be live on Amazon this week. And we're doing a virtual book launch on Thursday on my page on Facebook, Kimberly Winborne, LLC. The spelling is right there at the bottom, and you should be seeing it going across the screen. Information on how you can pre-order your book, as well as information on how you can join me for that virtual book launch. I would love to have you. So make sure to stay plugged in next week, where we'll actually have another guest joining us for May's Mental Health Awareness Month. May is going to be powerful and dynamic. We're focusing a lot on self-care, especially as entrepreneurs. How can we build, but also rest and get all that we need in order to be successful, but not burn ourselves out? This is the perfect time to talk about that, as we're really kind of coasting now in the second quarter. We could tackle some goals before we get into the third quarter, but not get burned out. So I want to thank you once again for joining me today for another episode. Make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. Subscribe to our podcast channel. We really appreciate it. And helps you to stay plugged in, so you'll get the alerts for when we have a new show. You guys have an amazing rest of your Monday. As I always say, the coffee is optional. You don't have to physically have the coffee, but coffee is a representation of building relationships, sitting across the table, having a conversation, creating a connection that can yield into collaboration that could grow your business a whole lot faster than you can siloed by yourself alone. And so the coffee is optional, but that collaboration is essential to your win. So let's collaborate. Get your debt detox book pre-ordered, and when it goes live, if you don't pre-order, go ahead on to Amazon or reach out to me at KimberlyWinborneLLC.com and order your copy. Let's collaborate so that you can win financially during this year that I officially declare Financial Literacy Year. See you soon.